we live?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 37 of the MMA Holics. Thank y'all so much for joining us. We wish y'all a happy new year. Happy holidays all around. We hope y'all had a blessed Christmas and a blessed New Year's, or whatever you all celebrate, whether Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever your religion is, of course. Yeah, how you doing, Nikki? How you doing, man? I know it's been a minute since we got to do a show. We were just really busy. Like I know you're training a lot with your MMA, and I've been working so much, bro. But I'm really happy we could finally do a show again. So how you feeling, man? You okay?
I'm good to, happy to be back. I'm good. I'm sore. I had a long class last night. I had like three, four classes last night. I was there from like 5 to 10. I have the same thing tomorrow. So just training a lot, but, happy to be back and stream. Got some good cards coming up for the first quarter of the year. Everything's getting announced, like right now a lot. So yeah, I'm excited. We got the UFC honors we're gonna go over. Um, got the fight night coming up, decent card. So yeah, I'm excited. How
Mhm.
about you?
I'm feeling pretty good about it. Same as you. I'm excited for it. It's always good to have UFC back. Obviously, it's been like 2 weeks since they've had the last card. So they ended it with the Joaquin Buckley Kobe Covington card. We didn't get to break that one down. I was gonna pick Buckley. Not
I was
saying
gonna
that.
pick Colby.
Yeah, not saying that because he won. Yes, even then Nikki decided he was gonna pick purely fair, purely objectively. And yeah, that's who I was leaning. But at the end of the day, we'll see what Colby's gonna do. Just giving our little reaction to that. I think Joaquin could fight for a belt this year. I think he's looked pretty good. I think for welterweight, he's just looked really good, man. I think like at his 5'10" frame with his body, his athleticism, his striking and his takedown defense, he's gonna do really good. Also, I think he's really smart too. I think he's really learned from all of his losses that he took from up at middleweight. And I think he's really applied himself and he's really just turned the corner at 30 years old in the welterweight. So how do you feel about that, the last main event of the year, and so
I
forth?
think he was putting belt to ass for sure. I get that. I would like to see the fight go on. I know it was a bad cut. I think it was unfortunate because just the way Colby fights, he's a better fighter later on. It would have been nice to see how Buckley looked in the fourth and fifth if he could have kept that same exact pressure. But yeah, I mean, just moving forward, for Colby, I'd like to see him fight like Gilbert Burns or someone. Uh, at this point, just like star power, but like people who aren't still in contention. I think
Right.
Gilbert Burns makes 100% sense. And then for Buckley, I say rebook Ian Gary. Ian coming off a title contending loss. Buckley moving up the ladder, and then both of them just get right back in line. Whoever wins that maybe fights the winner of Leon and JDM or the loser of that
JDM.
fight. And I
Yeah.
think I think the welterweight division is shaping up pretty good now. It kind of everyone knew it was kind of gonna work itself out. So you had all these people, Sean Brady, all these guys, and it's just gonna work itself out. That's what it does. You just put these guys against each other, and when the champion's healthy, he starts defending his belt. I think Bilal could make a run. I mean, I think there's some killers in this division, but I think Bilal earned a little bit of respect. He could make a nice run in this division if he wants to.
hmm Yeah. We're gonna see what happens. I'm not gonna give like an early prediction or anything if Muhammad versus Buckley happens or anything like that. But you're right though. We see Bilal Muhammad being in his absolute prime at 36, going on 37 years old right now. Of course, eventually he might start to teeter off naturally, almost being 40. But it's different nowadays. He's got to keep themselves in shape. With different nutritionists and things of that nature. So I do think he is gonna be able to extend his title reign longer than it would have been maybe a few years ago. But we're gonna see how it goes. And he has some dudes in front of him. Um, Next is gonna be Shavkat. We know that he beat Ian. I picked Ian in our last breakdown when we did UFC 310. Uh, that was a fun card. I enjoyed that card. I did not regret picking Ian Gary. I thought he looked really good. He was the one at the end of the fight that had Shavkat's neck about to submit him. You feel me? So, I just think he really showed his level. We all know how good Shavkat is, but I'm glad people feel the same way, at least a little bit more about Ian now. And yeah, but like that was last year, of course, going on to this new year. we never got to give our awards for fight of the year, fighter of the year, and so forth. So we wanted to take about a few minutes to do that for you guys. That definitely go ahead and show some love to the people that really showed out last year for the UFC, and really had the best performances throughout the 12 months in the calendar year. So we can start out with fighter of the year, or whatever is first on the list. Um, and yeah, man, starting out with it. How'd you feel about it, man? Like, who's your fighter of the year?
I go like I get it. There is an argument for Ilya. There's an argument for Alex. Um, Ilya is the quality and Alex is the quantity. But for me, it's even more than quantity. It's that he stepped up. Like Ilya did what he's supposed to do. He beat Volk. He got his title shot. He beat Volk. He knocked him out. And he said, I will fight Max, At first he was like he was doing Ilya stuff, talking all his shit, but he's like, I'll fight Max, I'll knock him out, and everyone called him crazy. And he had his fan base there with him. They said he'll do it. And he did it. He knocked out Max Holloway and Volkanovski in the same calendar year, which is insane. And that's why he's where he is, tied at, number one with Alex on this. But
Right.
for Alex, I mean, dude, he stepped up twice on short notice. Title content, like these are title shots too. I get some people don't like the competition at light heavyweight, and it's like it's been a thing. You can't convince them otherwise. They don't think Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohashka are good fighters. And you can't force people to like fighters, but it's what he did. I mean, he knocked Jamal Hill out cold with a nice hook. He head kicked. That Yuri fight was crazy. That Yuri fight was crazy. He almost put him out. Started the next round. 10 seconds into the round, head kick out cold. Stared him, fell back down again, and then the Roundtree. I mean, that fight was amazing. He went through so much adversity. He was sick. So for me, yeah, it's Alex Pereira. That for me.
Yeah, man, that's so funny. We're starting off the podcast agreeing. Yeah, for me it was Alex Pereira too. I know I've watched so many podcasts in between now and the last show that we did, and I get it. A lot of people, I respect them for picking Ilya, knocking out two of the greatest fighters we've ever seen inside the UFC. He did it in 1 year when neither guy had ever been knocked out before that. Of course, we have Volkanovski. We saw him get knocked out by Zamakishev with a head kick, but clearly, Topuria actually took his title and slapped him up against the cage. With it's still hard to process that. Even just saying that full sentence out loud, it hurts to say that. But of course, you got to be happy for the new reigning champion. He's an amazing fighter. Only 27, and he's probably 28 years old now. So I can't say he's getting up there in age at all. You could argue he hasn't even hit his prime yet. But for me, Pereira, I just think there wasn't a fighter in the people's faces more this year than Alex Pereira. It was Chama all day. Like it was just Chama all day. Only one word, and it's blown up so much. Like it's really his brand itself has blown up so much. Like for Ilya, because Ilya has the rub from a lot of celebrities like Sergio Ramos and a lot of other famous athletes in Europe. Alex Pereira did I'm not saying Ilya got made or put on or nothing like that, but Alex Pereira built all of this hype off just pure fighting, being as active as possible, highlight real KOs. He doesn't even speak English, and like he's captivated the masses in such a massive way this year. Well, last year that I think it just couldn't be ignored, and he did it everything he was supposed to. Finishing every single fight in dynamic fashion. I get it. He beat. Two of the fights were the same dude, but you still can lose any fight when you go out there and you put your body on the line. He still had to win the fights at the end of the day, and they didn't win them by decision. He won them in dynamic highlight reel fashion. So when they play his next countdown and it's just finish after finish after finish, like it's just like come on, like and he's blown up so much in terms of his own star power. So for me, it was Alex Pereira. I do want to see him fight Magomed Ankalaev. I'm not gonna lie about that. I just think the fight it's been built up way more to be like it's honestly to the point where it's gonna sell more than it would have, given the fact that they keep teasing it and pushing it back. I want Alex to prove that he can beat a dude like that just because he can wrestle, that means he's gonna lose. I don't believe that whatsoever. I think if Magomed can't get a takedown, he's gonna run into issues with Alex. I think if he was struggling with Jan Blachowicz on the feet, I think 1,000% he's gonna struggle with Alex Pereira on the feet. And we're act like he comes from a good camp. He's definitely training the takedown defense, especially if that's that's the main way he's gonna lose his title. If he does lose, he could get knocked out. You never know, of course. He's still human at the end of the day. I just don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. He's 37 years old, going on 38. So it's a light heavyweight division. We saw Jan Blachowicz was the champion in his prime at 38, and he's 42 years old, about to fight Carlos Ulberg in UFC London on March 22nd. So these guys keep on going, and he's in his prime right now. He's taking care of himself. He hasn't taken that much damage at all outside of a broken toe and getting knocked out by Israel Adesanya, of course. And yeah, like of course, like yeah, he's looking better and better every time we see him. I just think he has to continue to prove himself to those that doubt him. And that's it. He already has an amazing legacy. And that's really all there is to it. Two division champion. We're gonna see what he does this year. As of right now, he does not have a fight announced. Some people think he's gonna fight at UFC 313 because it's a lot of Brazilians on that card. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I think that was supposed to be in Brazil, but unfortunately, they probably couldn't get the stadium or get the venue for the fight. Because if you want Alex to get that home fight, I think he was supposed to fight at UFC 301 originally, but they just put him on 300 because they knew it was a good plan B. That's why Pantoja had to fight the number 10 ranked, Steve Erceg. Like it's just they have a title fight, because even Dana said that they wanted the main event for 300 to be Islam versus Leon. They were gonna let Islam step up and weight and all that, but they couldn't do it because obviously Ramadan stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, we're gonna see what happens. Hopefully he gets a fight scheduled soon. Hopefully it's on Kalaya. He tweeted out that it's not. I think he's trolling. And we're gonna see what happens. He had a great year. Hopefully he has an even better one. And we're gonna see what happens. But we can move on to the next one, the
Real
next
quick, let's just
category.
go down the list. They got Carlos Prates, Diego Lopez, Dricus Duplessis, Marab, Renato Moicano. Nice to see some love there.
Right.
Pantoja, very
He should
awfully
be
low in
higher.
my opinion
Yeah,
for
he should
two
be way
titles
higher.
defenses. Buckley, that's got your boy right there, fair. And Bilal
Mhm.
Muhammad. I like that list. I don't
Yeah.
think they're missing anyone. There's probably some fighters who stacked up, 3 wins on on the year that we're not thinking of right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like that. All right, we can move on. We'll do newcomers.
That's fine
Or do you
for
want to do
sure.
fights?
We can do newcomer first. We can do the fight last.
Newcomers. Carlos Prates, number one. Kayla Harrison, number two. How you feel about it?
Me personally, I mean, yeah, man, it's just the year of the fighting nerds at this point. You feel me? They have multiple fighters in multiple divisions that are looking good with highlight reel wins. We just saw, Kyle Bahayo had like a fight of the year candidate almost with Jared Cannonier. He's as we record this, I think he's the number 6 ranked middleweight right now after beating Cannonier. So they got Kaio, they got Gene Silva, they got Mauricio Rufy. All these dudes are coming off wins at the time of this video, including Carlos Prates himself, who's we just he won a main event versus Neil Magny. Say what you want, he had to win the fight at the end of the day, and he did it in highlight real fashion, as most people expected him to. Um, I think you could give him newcomer. I think he's really marketable. A lot of people are excited for his future. He's really young. He has losses on his record already, so it's good. He's gotten his experience and got that out the way already. So when he does have that adversity, I do think he will be made for those fights. I think he will be made for being in the pocket, exchanging and stuff like that. We just got to see him fight that one wrestler, get taken down and see how he fares off his back and stuff like that. And if he has good, good trips, good sweeps, good reversals and transitions, I think he'll be perfectly fine. He's already a great striker. Good chin. Like I said, we just gotta see him go through the adversity that he's destined to go through. And that's it. But as a newcomer, oh hell yeah, he definitely had a hell of a year as a rookie inside the UFC. Seeing like in NBA terms, NFL terms. he had a great year. He honestly did. He went 4-0, all by way of finish. He's looking good. He's knocking out dudes that never knocked out before, like Lee Ching Leon and stuff like that. So he's looked good, man. Kayla Harrison, I wish she got more love. I feel like she did what she was supposed to too. She just struggled in the Kayla Vieta fight, which is perfectly fine. Kevin Vieta, she's a high ranked fighter. I believe that was number three versus number two at the time of the fight. So I mean, she fought a high ranked girl, like because if she would have smoked her, they'd have been like, "Oh, Vieta's trash, this and that." But like it's just people when they have high expectations, like if you're not like winning within like the first 30 seconds, they're not really gonna be impressed like that, regardless of whatever you do. Don't get me wrong, she could have dominated her all 15 minutes, this and that. But people would have been like, "Oh, it's Kellen Vieta, the division's weak, this and that, just stuff like that." You feel me? Don't get me wrong. I think once she fights Norma Dumont, um, I think we're definitely gonna have an interesting fight on our hands for sure. I'm excited for the Pena fight. I'm really excited for that, honestly. I think that's gonna be an international fight week. I think that's gonna be like the co-main event to Jones versus Aspinall, something like that. It's just a really really good fight. For two ladies, both extremely marketable. If you catch what I'm saying. Especially when they're dolled up and stuff like that. They both look great when they're dolled up at the press conference and stuff like that. No matter what people say about Juliana, she has a great face card. You feel me? And yeah, like we're gonna see what happens. As these two go on inside the UFC. But I do think you could give it to Protest. And like I'm trying to think of anybody else who maybe could have got it
I mean, you could
this
look who they
year.
put. I mean, they got Gene
Uh,
Silva. They got all the. They got the whole fucking
all the
squad on
fighters,
here.
yeah, it's funny.
Felipe Lima. I like this guy. This is the light heavyweight. I remember watching him. I think it was on the. It was either a fight night or it was on the Australia card. He looks
I think
really
he's on
good.
the China card too.
Oban Elliott looks really
I'm
good. A
really
lot of
high on him.
potential.
Yeah, I'm really, really high on
Um,
him. I think he's gonna be
what's his
good.
name? Chael Sonnen loves Oban Elliott, and I think Ariel's really high on Oban too. We got Vinicius Oliveira, very good finisher. Yes,
Hmm.
good. MVP. Uh, I guess because he came on the scene and caught a win, but I'm kind
Right.
of I'm kind of iffy on him. I don't know how good he's gonna be in the UFC. I guess at this point it's just like maybe he fights with Wonder Boy or something. Um,
Hmm.
I thought Kayla Harrison would have won it. I thought coming onto the scene at 300, she made a mark for herself. There was questions about if she would transition well. I thought Kayla had it. I didn't realize Prates had 4 wins on the calendar year. I honestly thought he debuted in 23, but I was wrong. So I mean, it's fair, very fair. Newcomer of the year,
Yeah.
4 wins in the
Yeah,
year,
man.
all
No fair.
finishes. He has great liver knees. Like if anyone could land a knee to the liver, it's this dude. It's insane how he does it.
Hmm.
Um, strong, and then he's like a really character. Like MMA fans
Yeah.
like him. They like what he's about. I mean, this dude smokes cigarettes, drinks
Congrats.
alcohol, parties, women. It's like that. They love him. So you can't deny it. We could move on. As simple as that. There's nothing to it. Let's go to submissions of the year. I already know
And
where
like
I'm at.
for sure. And as we move on, I do want to say, and he also has a pretty interesting backstory too. Like he was saying, he has a daughter that lives in Australia. So he'll like to fight on those cards. So when the fights are over, he spends time with his baby girl for a couple weeks before going back to. I think he might live in Brazil. I'm not sure. But yeah, I know he said he has a baby girl that lives in Australia. So that's pretty cool. Like must have a mother of his child that lives in Australia, maybe, stuff like that. It's just a pretty cool story. You feel me? And yeah, I think he has a really big 2025. I do think they fast tracked him. He is 31 years old, so not like that's old or anything like that. I just think they want him to be able to have those big movie fights at 32, 33. And if he takes a loss, he'll still be able to bounce back. This will be like a number 5 ranked fighter and stuff like that. So going into this category, everyone knows what they're picking. For me, it was more so like the shock value. My jaw hit the floor, no pun intended. I honestly just couldn't believe it. Just like when they were standing on the feet and they were like assessing the range and stuff like that, I was like, okay, like It's like I have no idea what's about to happen. You feel me? And then he just shot right for a takedown. He got him to the ground, got his back, and a lot of people thought Robert tapped pretty quick, but then like later we found out that his teeth have been misplaced inside of his mouth, and I don't think the average man would retire after suffering an injury of that nature. When you're waking up and this is gone, like you can't like like
Yeah.
even when he walked away, when he like when he stood up like that, and he's just walking away, like he's not crying, just playing it off. You feel knowing that he cannot talk, like knowing that like this is gone, man. So many people never felt like before the age of 70, maybe like losing your teeth like that, unless you're doing hardcore drugs, stuff like that. You're not losing your teeth, and to lose it like that, man, like that was pure adrenaline. I'm pretty sure when he came down and they had to slowly put back in every tooth like that, like Jesus Christ, man. And he said it happened to him before that when he was 19 years old, and he kept fighting after. Like if they make a Robert Whitaker movie and they have his first fight when he's young, it's gonna be that one big boom and his teeth go flying, and like his people would have known that really happened to him. Like he really lost his teeth, man. And he kept fighting, man. That's why I said most people would retire. He kept going after the first time. We're gonna see what happens with Robert. He's still in a pretty high place in the division. He's like the number 4 ranked fighter. He's a former champion. They love him. They love Robert Whitaker. It would take a lot to cut Robert Whitaker. He'd retire before they cut him. He's a legend. They would never cut Robert Whitaker. Um, we're just gonna see how he bounces back. We do know that Imavov is fighting Israel, so Imavov is taking up right now. Um, Maybe he could get like the loser. I thought he was gonna fight Strickland personally, and I thought Hamzat was gonna get the title shot after that. Um,
I think he just waits. He's just gonna
yeah,
wait
I
the
mean,
same way
yeah,
Sean did. He waits for the next
yeah.
title shot.
Title. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna get a title shot, but I mean, he's
I
already
think he
told
will. Bro, he's ready for
Robert.
one.
Oh, you mean Hamzat? You mean Hamzat? You mean Hamzat?
Yeah. Oh,
Hamzat.
you talking about Rob?
Yeah, I was talking about. Yeah, I was trying to
Uh,
see what Robert. No, 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 no. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Hamzat's gonna. I think he probably will wait. It's gonna be like an Abu Dhabi card, something like that, and he's gonna fight for the belt. And yeah, for Robert, because also assessing the results of the submission of
they
the
might
year
give him to
too.
Kyle.
They could, yeah, if he wants. I mean, he has no choice really.
He
But I
doesn't
mean, he
have to
wants.
stay anymore.
Yeah, he has to. Yeah, bro, like because he has the number 4 next to his name. You feel me? And like they're gonna try to get that up off of him. So we're gonna see what move he decides to make. I do think he takes a lot of time off. He's always on his podcast and stuff. He's still around. He's not hiding from nobody. So I think he's just waiting. They will hit him up eventually. Those men in black, and they will have a few names, and he will have no choice but to pick one. And we're gonna see what happens. I still think he beats 85% of the division. You feel me? He just got taken down and submitted, man. And like even talking about the submission, of course, and how he just did. Um, it was great. It was a great submission. It was extremely unexpected. All that Hamzat stuff is put to bed. He is like that 100%. People thought because he was a lot more calmer throughout the fight week. Wearing glasses. He grew his hair out. They're thinking he might not have that same edge to him like how he did back in 2020, and he has not missed a step in the slightest. And I just think I think becoming rich, and I think he has a son now as well. So becoming a father and becoming rich definitely has done something to Hamzat. He really feels like a prize fighter now. And he's still only 30 years old. He has plenty of time. He was 26 when he got here, 30 going on 31. So he's still going to be young. He hasn't taken any damage, obviously. So he's going to have plenty of chances to have war. And I do think he will become the UFC middleweight champion at one point. Whatever happens from then on there, we'll see whether he wants to try to go back down and become a double champion in welterweight. No fighter has ever gone down in weight and became double champion. TJ Dillashaw was the only one that tried to attempt set feet. and we saw what happened to TJ Dillashaw shortly after that, being stripped of his title, unfortunately. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Hamzat. He's gonna have a big year this year, obviously. Like I said, Strickland and DDP, they're already set to fight in February, so we gotta see what happens with that. That we're not gonna get the results. That's like the summertime because obviously Drake is gonna take time off after the fight and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens, man. But that's really it for me. I didn't really have any other candidate like maybe like a high level submission, something like that. Like I mean, because I was thinking like, man, like
For me, I was between two. I honestly didn't pick Rob and Hamza. At first, it was Islam and Dustin just because of how that fight went.
yeah,
Like a back and forth stand up. He couldn't get Dustin to the ground that much at all. Got him down for a little bit, and then he finally got that that leg, and he pulled on it, and then he just got right into a submission. It was just like the adversary of getting to that submission. It took him all fight. But honestly, I think I had to go with Patty. Patty Pimblett's submission was
over
for
Bobby Green.
only
Right.
because, dude, it was just so much shit talk at the beginning of that fight with Green. He always does. And Patty got him and he put him in that triangle. And then he got the arm too. And he broke his arm and put him to sleep, dude. For me, that was the sub of the year. That was like the. That was like at the same time, I felt the same way about the Islam one because when that, I mean, as an Islam fan, it's a little different. But when he finally got that sub, it was just like you watched 4 rounds. So like, yes, finally got it. Finally got that sub. Finally got when he got him down. I was like, yes. Every time he got a hold of Dust, I was like, yes, yes, that's what you need to be doing. Like, obviously, he knows that was his game plan. But those are the
Mhm.
two for me. It was between Islam and Paddy Pimblett.
Last thing I'll
I
ask about.
expected this, bro. I called this. I called a Hamzat round one submission when when they were first booked when they got canceled. I said I think it's gonna be over in one. We were on Destiny playing together, and we were driving our Sparrows, bro. And we were going, and we were talking about it. And we were doing a mission, and we were just talking about it because we knew we weren't doing that week. I forgot. I think we were busy or something. And you were just like, "How do you think it's gonna go?" And I was like, "I think Hamzat could end it in one round." And you were laughing. You were like, "You really think?" And obviously you knew it could happen too. We all knew that. But like I was confident. I really thought Hamzat was just levels above. And that's not a knock to Whitaker. I just think it's Hamzat's time, Like a lot of people took too much weight on that Gilbert fight. Gilbert's a great striker. And then they took the Kamaru fight. Kamaru's a legend. So yeah, I just think it's his time.
Yeah, man. Like I
If he
agree.
didn't get him down, yeah, it would have went 5 round decision or something, or maybe he would get knocked out. But I had confidence that Hamzat would take him down right away.
The
No,
fight was 5 rounds, wasn't it? The fight was five
that shit
rounds.
went two
I
minutes.
forgot about that. The fight was 5 rounds.
That shit
Wow.
went 2 minutes.
Um,
Minute 30, honestly. Minute 26 is crazy.
forgot that shit was 5 rounds, man. Um,
But you wanna keep moving so we could get through
yeah,
this?
I was gonna ask. Do you think Chandler? Do you think Patty could beat Chandler if he fights Chandler?
Michael Chandler. See, the thing with Paddy Pimblett, it's like I think he's very skilled. I'd have to like I need to see 1 minute of the first round. That's just to like confidently say I'm back on the Paddy train. Because when you think of Paddy and you think of all these lightweights, in my head I can't see him standing up to these guys. I was confident with everyone he's fought so far, but like now it's like when you think of in my head, if someone said Jalen Turner versus Paddy Pimblett, I'm like, yo, that's a monster. How's he gonna fight with someone that tall? You say Benil Dariush, I think he would watch. But you say like Paddy versus Gamrot, it's like okay, Paddy has good jujitsu, but is it good enough? Or like Turner, is he tall enough? Hooker, is he going to be able to trade? Is he going to be able to finish him? So I just need to see 1 minute. I think he could beat Chandler. Can Paddy take a mean fucking hook? Also, how would
I
Chandler
think
look? So
so.
I don't know.
I
I
think
think I
so.
think Paddy can win. I'm very pro Paddy, but like I said, I just need to see a minute of the fight to make my pick.
The last thing I will, the literal last thing, because we do gotta move on. I think people gonna test Patty Hart, and he gonna pass that fucking test, man. I think he gonna pass that shit. Excuse my
He's a
language.
good fighter.
I think he's gonna pass it, man. He needs that one. He's undefeated inside the UFC right now. He needs that one war where his eyes, like just all that shit, man, and like
I
And
wanted to
yeah,
see him
that's
fight
that
Benil
test,
Dariush, man.
you know. But yeah, we can move on though for sure.
All right, so now we got where are we? Where are we?
'Cause I think we're doing the
Oh, here we
fight of
go.
the year next.
Knockouts. Let's do
Knockouts.
knockouts.
Okay.
Where are
All
you
right.
at? Let me before I like scroll down. I want to make sure if I put this one on my Twitter. I know I tweeted it out, so let me check real quick. You could start though.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, okay. So knockout of the year. I don't want to be, like please, like.
Oh,
Don't
I
get me
told you
wrong.
before. I told you before we started. It was okay. Okay, I picked Vinicius Oliveira. I don't even know if he's on here, but I picked Oliveira's
Yeah, like,
flying knee.
yeah, with the Bernardo Sopai, that's what I was gonna
If,
choose
if it's
too.
on here. Oh, third. Okay, that was my
It was,
knockout of the
it
year.
was just a really devastating KO. It was just really, 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 really like I felt for Bernardo. I felt for him after that fight. As we record this, he's fighting in Los Angeles, on the 311 card. So he has decided to pick himself back up and continue on. You all see that. For any of y'all going through adversity in your dreams, please never give up because you see what this young man is about to go out and do again. Um, and yeah, man. So I get it. You feel me? Like it was a beautiful KO. Benicio Salvador. I mean, like, nah. Yeah. He's, he's pretty not. That's Vinicius Oliveira. Yeah, Salvador got cut. Vinicius Oliveira is really good. I think he has a bright future in the division. He's fighting Saeed Nurmagomedov in the Abu Dhabi card, the Riyadh season, the Israel and the
Hmm.
Imavov card. So he's
Yeah.
fighting him on that card. So we're gonna see how he fares against even better competition. They're giving him a big another a big pretty big step up. Saeed's like fringe ranked bantamweight. He's mainly been ranked Saeed, not Nurmagomedov. So we're gonna see what happens. But yeah, that was my knockout of the year personally. Of course, we could have picked Gaethje and Holloway. I love that KO. Seeing Gaethje face plant like my eye, it just I words can't express like how crazy like that was. Like just watching that happen, like it's just like I can't even like man words. I can't fathom. I can't express how just like seeing his body just drop like it was just like insane. I know it's just a fight at the end of the day, but it's more so like the stakes of it. And it's Justin too, man. You don't want to see Justin. Justin doesn't even have a fight scheduled since getting knocked out
He didn't
by
have to
Matt.
take that fight. He was number one contender. Now, what is he? He's like an afterthought in the lightweight division now.
I mean, I don't want to say
He needs
after.
he needs to win another fight, maybe two, for a
For
title
sure,
shot
for sure,
now.
for sure. I don't think Justin's even thinking about the title. I think he more so like just wants to, no matter what you hear him say in the interviews, like I think he just really more so just wants to get his confidence back, man. He wants to get not like he lost all of it. He just wants to know at 35 after a devastating KO like that, face planting at UFC 300 in front of the world, that I can still do this, man. And that's it. He can most definitely still do this 100%. I'm going to mention him in a second when we go to fight of the year. And anyway, but yeah, that was it for me. For knockout.
What's good, Anakin in the house? How you doing, brother? Happy New Year.
Yo, what's up, man? Again, thank you so much for joining us, bro. I really appreciate you for popping in here, bro. You already know how it goes. Feel free to comment anything you want. So we haven't gotten to the card breakdown yet. We'll be there in a couple minutes. We only got like two more, like maybe one more category to do. And that's it. But yeah, we can go ahead and move on though, for sure.
All right, so we got fights of the year. I'll
I
say
already
right now,
have
I had
mine.
Esteban Ribovich and Daniel Zellhuber. That fight was a banger at 306. That just, I mean, that defined the UFC for me. Like that fight, like that's the fight you wanted. You're like, yo, bro, watch this card with me. And it's like, yeah, no. You gotta watch the fights before the main event too. There's good fighters on this card. And it's like, who are these guys? It's like, oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta see if you like them. And then this fight comes on, they're trading and just going back and forth, and Zellhuber's getting his ass kicked, and he just somehow gets his foot up to the guy's head. Like, come on, that's just the UFC. I'm not gonna say that's like MMA, But that's what the UFC is. It's just
Ultimate
these
Fighting
crazy ass
Championship.
fights, top talent, top of the roster to the bottom. I mean, damn, that fight was so fucking good. There was great fights in the year. I personally think the Max and Gaethje got wouldn't be a fight of the year only because Justin broke his nose. If he didn't,
It
if
was
he
like in
didn't
the
break his
first
nose,
round, bro.
it would have been a different fight. I mean, maybe it would have been closer. I still think I picked Max in that fight. Um, we could go down. I mean, Pereira and Roundtree. The only reason it was too one-sided at both times. For the first 3 rounds, I think it was three, right? Roundtree was just
Roundtree was great, man.
dominating, and then Pereira dominates the fourth. So fight of the year, it didn't feel like they were like, it wasn't this. It was two this and this. There was none of this. They didn't share around. They were too, separated. For me, no. Islam and Dustin, great fight. Um, I wouldn't put fight of the year, but I definitely enjoyed it. Definitely deserves to be where it is. This fight, definitely not fight of the year. I call that like an underdog of the year, if anything. Um,
For me personally, it was Dan Hooker versus Matsuyu's Gamrot, bro. I thought that
yeah,
was a
I
that's a
like that one too. I like that fight too. That was a good one.
crazy fight. Looking back, that shit was just because everyone thought, oh, Gamrot's gonna get takedowns.
Fuck
So
no.
Dan started stuffing the shits, and then he just kept like it was just really really crazy to see Dan really make it a close fight like that and just rise to the occasion. He was stuffing the takedowns, had him up against the cage, like he was doing everything he could to really really win that fight and see him really like rejuvenate his career like that. At 33 years old, after being in the top five some years ago, and then going on a losing streak, and he got back up there again. Like that was really cool to see, man. And I promise you, like me personally, knowing like watching Dana all these years and stuff, Hunter Campbell, all these dudes, if they could choose over Dan Hooker and Gamrot in the top five, bro,
Dan
they're
Hooker.
gonna say they're the Dan Hooker, bro. Like they
Dan
just like they
Hooker.
they rather have it. They love his personality. He's
There's
always
more
been
hype around
winning.
everyone he fights. If he fights Islam, which he's not, it's a rematch. If he fights Poirier, you seen what happened in the first fight. If he fights
First
Gaethje,
fight,
everyone wants the Gaethje fight.
everyone wants to see that, bro. I would, and that's what I was saying,
Charles, nah, I don't want to see him
bro.
fight Charles. But if they booked it, I wouldn't have a problem with
It'd
it.
be interesting matchup, though. It'd be a really
I
interesting
think he
matchup.
would get demolished by Charles Oliveira.
But
I think he would have a more competitive fight with Justin or Dustin. I think he would get destroyed by Charles Oliveira.
I think like, and that's why I said earlier a couple minutes ago. I'm gonna mention Justin again. I think they are gonna make the Gaethje versus Hooker fight. I think it just makes sense. Like they fought around the same time, and I just think Justin needs a fight like that. It's a fresh matchup. It's a striker. He needs a striker. Obviously, we fought a striker this last fight too. But Max is different. Max is extremely extremely dynamic when he wants to be. And like he's one of the greatest fighters ever, bro. Like still one of two totally different dudes or whatever. And I think Dan Hooker just be a good fight for him. Dan Hooker's taking a lot of damage himself, so that's gonna be a really good one if they do decide to throw down and just like go at it. And it'd be good, like it's good for Hooker to get that chance to fight a top three guy, and it's good for Justin to fight another top five guy. And even if he loses that, he'll still be top five because he lost to number five. So they'll probably just switch rankings, and that's it. But that was it for me on this category as well. Unless you had anything else, that was my fight of the year. It was Gamrot
That's
and
it. If you want to just throw out these ones, I'll say female fight of the year. I went
oh,
Valentina Shevchenko for me.
come on.
You going Valentina
Uh,
also?
I mean, like I'm gonna be biased. Valentina, obviously, I picked her to get her belt back. She's my favorite fighter. For any of y'all that do not know, my literal like over male and female. But I'm gonna switch it up though. I was gonna go with Dakota Tchiva, from the PFL Professional Fighters League. She looked great over there, and she just beat Tyler Santos. After a lot of people thought, I mean, including me included, I'll say it straight up, she hadn't beaten the best competition whatsoever. I really thought they were really giving her tailor-made matchmaking, but she passed the test that she was given, and she's looking good. She's young. I do think the UFC are gonna try to get her at one point, but Don Davis and the PFL, they're gonna try tooth and nail to keep Dakota Tchiva on their roster. They know she's one of their biggest stars. She's homegrown and she's European. So they really love that about her, and they're really gonna try to keep her. I just think eventually she's gonna want to fight in the biggest fight promotion. Like she's gonna want that spotlight. She can only go so far in the PFL. It's gonna be like a regional scene at the end of the day. She wants that SB's treatment. She wants that 5 star like superstar. She's marketable. So I think Dakota will come over to the UFC one day. They will welcome her with open arms. They will give her that top 3 ranked fight right away, and we're going to see what happens with her. That's not for the next few years. I think 2028, 2029, she might come over. It's going to be a while. They're going to have her over, like really have her over there for a while. And eventually she's just going to come over like Kayla did. So I don't think she'll be that old as Kayla. I'm not saying Kayla old. Lord forgive me. But I think Dakota's pretty young. She's like 25, 26 right now. I think she comes over at 30. By 30, in her prime, ready to go, still with a lot of time left to make a lot of movies, as I call the pay-per-views movies. And we're going to see what happens. But we can move on to the Fight Night 2025 UFC. We're back in business, y'all. Got the ladies main eventing for this one. It's a shame that both of these girls got to get punched in the face. It really does. It really does hurt. It is truly unfortunate. Both these girls are, pretty gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. You can watch Amanda Ribas MMA Junkie interview if you want to see how she's looking lately. Um, but yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. Me and the boy Nikki thought it would be better for us to start from the top this time around. Of course, y'all can catch us back next week from the pay-per-view UFC 311, where we're gonna break that down layer by layer by layer, extremely thoroughly. But we were gonna start from the top this time around on the first fight night of the year, Dern versus Ribas 2. It's a rematch. First fight was I think was 2018, or 2019. It was one of those. Mackenzie had just had her baby, and she was coming back off of maternity leave, and she just didn't look. She not like she was a great. She was a really good prospect at the beginning, but she wasn't like a 5 star prospect. So she came back. She just had to pick up where she left off and had to continue to grow her skills. Um, and yeah, but no need for a backstory. We can go ahead and start breaking down the fight first. For sure, most definitely. And y'all know how we like to do the main events. One person does the red corner. One person does the blue corner. I've been talking for a little bit, Nikki, so you can go ahead and take the red corner. Mackenzie Dern.
Back, so we got Mackenzie Dern, probably one of the most dangerous submission women in the UFC. She has
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal jiu-jitsu. I'm sure she's a black belt. Um, thing with her, that I've always said, like in her fights consistently, is that she has trouble getting the fight to the ground. But when it's there, she's very dangerous. Striking, I'm not gonna knock her on it too much. I think she's been getting better over time with her striking. Um, Usually, like honestly, I'm not gonna go down like her history. I don't know too much about it. I've looked at the topology a few times, but it's not one of those main events for me. Um, yeah, for this card, a few fights are like that. I didn't know a lot of these. There's a lot of Dana White contenders fighters on this card, so I
Yep.
didn't do too much research, but I got a little bit. But yeah, I do think Dern is getting better every fight at this point. This is a big step up for her. This fight, declares who's going up, who's going down in the division.
Yep.
So, lost the last one to a decision. This one is going to be 5 rounds, so it's going to be definitely different. I wasn't sure. I'll wait for a prediction. So if you want to break down Rebus before we do predictions.
For sure. Amanda Ribas, she came in 2018. I think her second fight was the McKenzie fight. So, she's been here for a while herself. You feel me? Obviously, like I said, one of the more popular females on the roster. Has a fairly good skill set. She's a decent striker, more of a grappler, in my opinion. We saw it in the Kaylin Sermonara fight, formerly Kaylin Chukagian, for those that don't know. She took her down a bunch of times with the judo throw, really showing her strength in that fight, taking down a bigger girl. She's normally a strawweight, and she was grappling a flyweight like that. So the fact that she was really bullying her, slamming her at will over and over, I was really surprised she couldn't get the nod because she like took her down a bunch of times. It got to the point at the end of the fight, like if she would have got her down one more time, she would have won it for sure. And like held her down, she would have won without a doubt. And she would have beat the number one ranked contender at flyweight. So she's always shown how good she is. I just think with certain matchups, she hasn't fought the best. And with the Macy Barber fight, I thought she was looking good in that fight. She just got too overzealous on the feet. And then she got hit with that head kick. Devastating head kick by Macy Barber that rocked her. She just couldn't recover. And then she was follow up strikes on the ground and she just couldn't recover. And it was sad, because like she looked really good, man. Like, it's just really frustrating watching that fight, man. Like she really could have won that. She's always looked competitive in all of her matchups. We haven't seen her get like washed out in any of her fights inside the UFC really. She's always been really competitive, has a lot of heart inside of the cage. Really mean that, really fights through adversity pretty well. Hard to finish, even though I said she got finished by Barber. The ref, of course, the ref had to step in, but she was still scrambling. Like how like some fighters hold on to the ref after getting finished. She was still trying to fight, even though I thought they shouldn't have stopped it because she was still trying to move. It's just like they stopped it because the strikes were really hard. Um, and yeah, like again, Ribas has always shown her level. Like I said, she's like a pretty good grappler. If I had to give her a rating, she's like at least a B plus grappler. She could definitely impose her will if fighting someone who isn't her level in the grappling whatsoever. This fight's probably going to be stalemate in the grappling, in my opinion. Maybe McKenzie might have the edge, but she's not going to get Ribas in any position where Ribas does not know what to do. So I think that's where it's going to get pretty interesting in terms of strength and stuff like that in the transitions. It's a close fight though. But yeah, I already broke down the blue corner. So we go ahead and give the predictions. How you feeling this one, man? Go ahead. The first main
Uh,
event of
yeah. So
2025.
for 5 rounds, right? It's always tricky because we don't get too many 5 round women fight. Um, it's like path to victory is you think Dern submission, right? That's my path to victory for Dern. For Ribas, I don't know if she stops Dern. She could get punched in the face pretty well. Her striking's not that good. She could get punched for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my thing is if Amanda could go 5 rounds with solid striking, like she'll win in the striking department, I think. If she could go 5 rounds of solid striking and keep that pace that she'll have, if like let's say she has a good pace to start the fight and she keeps it for 5 rounds, yes, a sure decision. If she starts to fade a little bit and now she's like, okay, let's stall a little bit by grappling, push her against the cage, that's where Dern takes over. I think even if Dern is just dead tired, as soon as they come in contact with each other, it's just like a sweep or a throw, and now Dern's in side control or something. Um, I I don't really know how I want to go with this fight, so I said like
It's
for me the
close.
fight's gonna go over 3.5 rounds would be my most popular prediction. But if I had to pick a lady, I'm gonna go with Dern by submission. I think in 5 rounds of fight
Woo!
I think I like to see the finish in fighters, right? Like I don't like to predict a decision. I know it's common. 3 rounds you kind of have to predict. For a 5 round fight, most fights won't go all the way to a decision. I mean, unless they're just countering each other. Like they're just meeting each other so well that it'll go 5 rounds. I think Dern, that at some point this fight is gonna get close. And if Dern could just prove us wrong that she could take someone down, or maybe Amanda does something foolish. I'm gonna go with Dern for submission
Bullish.
because
I'm
as
dead.
soon as they're on the ground together, I know Dern could lock up a triangle. She could get a Kimura, anything. It's in the skill set. I think
Hmm.
she outclasses her 100% on the ground. Where's your head at?
Well, yeah, man. It looks like we're gonna agree on the first main event of the year. I was gonna go with McKenzie. I think she's fought the way better competition. That's the only reason she has the losses on her record. She's fought the title challenger Yan Xiaonan. Of course, we saw her lose that one. She fought another title challenger, and Amanda Lemos lost that one. She fought a champion in Jessica Andrade. She lost that one. I think she's fought the way better competition. Also, she has Jason Perillo back with her in her corner. We've seen what he has done for her in the past with her striking skills. Obviously, you heard Joe Rogan say that her striking regressed in non-Andrade fight. And she even lost the Lemos fight after that. So she's a tough girl. She continues to go in there no matter what, even after beating and losing. Like all of that. Like no matter how much damage she takes, she still continues to fight. because she's genuinely a fighter, not just a pretty girl trying to get a paycheck. So she really does this. There's some grown men who wouldn't step into the cage. You feel me? They would just talk. So, yeah, man, I think she gets it done. Like I said, she fought way better competition. That's the main reason she's lost. You know, she has more losses than Ribas, in my opinion. I think those same fighters would beat Amanda as well. And I think in this fight, yeah, I think she'll have a little bit of the edge on the striking because she has Jason Perillo with her. And I think it's gonna be hard pressed for anyone to beat Mackenzie Dern on the ground. Like I said, I do think this fight is gonna kind of be a little bit. It's just gonna be surprising. It's gonna be surprising. Like, don't be surprised if you see Ribas like hit her with a judo throw because Dern initiates the grappling first. I do think that it's gonna be to a point where like they're kind of like exchanging on the like ground rolling and stuff like that. It could be a fun fight, you know. Also, I'm picking Dirk at the scales, obviously, but it would also be pretty cool to see these ladies have a trilogy. This is 1-1. Well, it would be 1-1 if Mackenzie wins. You feel me? So, granted, it might not be for a belt, but it could be like a pay-per-view main card opener or something like that. They would love. Both these girls fight on pay-per-views most of the time. That's why they're getting their own main event against each other. So, um, it'd be cool to see them like really have a trilogy. Just out of nowhere, these two girls were fated to fight each other, two Brazilian women, stuff like that. So, I look forward to it. Both girls are really cool. No matter who loses this fight, they're still in a good position. They're not getting cut at all. They don't like they're gonna get a layup after this, just to get them back on the horse, and that's it. But we're gonna see how this goes. I got Mackenzie Dern. Amanda could win it. She's a betting favorite, almost -200 on some betting odds. But I got Mackenzie. She fought the better competition. I think the striking is going to be better with Jason Perillo. And if I had to pick out of two good grapplers, I'm gonna trust Mackenzie. I just she's one of the greatest grappling stalwarts we've ever seen with the jiu-jitsu. If she had A tier wrestling, she'd be so dangerous. Because she'd be so strong. She's already physically strong. When you see her in the cage, when you see her back and stuff like that, she's very physically strong. You can tell. Um, and yeah, I was gonna go with McKinsey, and we're gonna see how it goes, man. I still gotta watch the media day. You feel me? Just see where her head's at. So we're gonna see how it goes, though. You feel me? But who you picking in the co-main
Let's
of this
go there.
card?
I'm picking Santiago in the co-main. I know he's a little older now. He's 38. He's facing a 37-year-old, so it's not the end of the world that they're up there in age. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how his fight style, Santiago's fight style, carries him later in his years. I mean, he's a foot on the gas fighter, goes forward. He has great striking, great footwork, but the footwork might start to fade a little bit. You never know. Um, he could wrestle, but he's not gonna in this fight. It wouldn't benefit. Harris is like a wrestling guy. He's like a walk you down, wrestle you, fight for the. He's gonna just fight to get the fight to the ground, pretty much. That's how he fights. And once it's on the ground, he's going for a submission right away. I don't see why Santiago would fight that style, knowing he has such a big advantage on the feet. Um, yeah, I think if Harris can't get the fight to the ground, it's just going to be a horrible night for him. I'm going to take Ponzinibbio by knockout.
All right, bro. Me too. We're agreeing on the co-main and main event, first two of 2025. I got Ponzinibbio as well. I got him at a third round TKO. I think there's gonna be striking back and forth the first two rounds. This really assessed the distance in the first round. Ponzinibbio has slowed down compared to how he was on his win streak before he took time away. I think he was battling an illness. He almost died at one point, so it is good to see him even come back and fight again. It was a really devastating, dynamic fighter. Before he had that layoff, it was really, really sad to see him have to take that much time off because he really could have fought for a belt. No exaggeration. He was really one of those dudes back then, like how we have the Jack Della Maddalena and stuff like that now. At one point, Santiago Ponzinibbio was referred to that in the same breath. Um, so it's cool to see him still be able to fight. Um, and yeah, man, I got him my third round KO in this fight. maybe even second round. To be quite honest with you, I think he'll come out, play a little bit in the first round, really turn up the aggression in the second when he sees what Carlson Harris has for him on the feet. So that was it for me in the co-main. I got really like obviously Ponzinibbio by KO, either second round or third round for you betters out there.
Let's go ahead. People think he is in the lesser half, so we will
I mean,
see
he's gonna
about that.
lose. I mean, like,
I
I mean,
think
don't
he's
get
gonna
me
get
wrong. Yeah,
subbed.
I mean, they think Harris could fight to the ground, but at the end of the day, like, I just think that Ponzinibbio can fight standing, and just like, this is another fight. Speaking of keeping it standing, um, damn man, this is a close one. Um,
Want me to go first?
yeah, yeah, nah, bro, like I got it. Man, I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida, bro. I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida, bro. I wanted to pick Abdul Razak. I was so fucking bad. I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida. I just think because man, Abdul, man, I'm really thinking he can hurt this dude though, man. Like, honest, don't get me wrong, that's Cody Brundage, bro. It's Cody Brundage who we had. Y'all almost had him out in the first round. I get that, but he's like that with every dude that he fights, though. Um, I'm just gonna go with Cesar Almeida, man. He's a world class kickboxer, bro. He's seen so many styles on the feet. I think he'll be able to play it safe, really like stay out of the danger of the power. Keep him at a distance with the teeth to the body. Both these guys are around the same age, so either way, you can't really play the age card here because they're both pushing 40. So don't go off the topology votes, y'all. But but I mean, like at the end of the day, like because I think Abdul can knock him the f- out,
He
man.
can. He
Like
definitely can. It's a
I'm
hard
gonna
hitter
go.
right there.
I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida. Though, like I said, world class kickboxer. He's seen so many styles on the feet, including Alex Pereira of all people. Even has a win over him in the kickboxing. So, yeah, man, I'm gonna go with Cesar Almeida to win this fight and keep on pushing in 2025, man. We're gonna see what this dude's gonna do. He lost to Roman Kopylov, so he has to. I mean, obviously that set him back at his age, and he has to continue to get another win streak to get that momentum again. So we're gonna see what happens. I don't think he has any plans of retiring anytime soon, even at his age. He's still young, green in MMA, so we're gonna see what happens. You feel me? But I'm gonna go with Cezina, by decision.
Word. I mean, yeah, Abduli's a heavy hitter and he's really good judo, hence the nickname Judo Thunder.
You know, Thunder.
But it's hard to pick him against someone like Cesar Almeida, who's just a world class kickboxer. I mean, this fight's gonna be on the feet. I'm taking Almeida 100 times. I know he can get hurt by a heavy hitter, but uh, he's been hit plenty of times. He's a kickboxer.
I'm like,
Uh,
brother,
he's a
bro.
skilled kickboxer too. He's good. He looks good in the octagon. I think the battle on this fight, like what to watch, like I want to see like how is his sweep defense. Um, it's not like he like because Almeida's really good at like wrestling defense, like guarding the single legs and stuff. But like, how
Right.
does he look against a sweep? How does he look against a judo throw? That's what I want to see in this fight. If he could stop that, which I'm 100% sure he has judos in his camp for this fight.
Oh, for
If he
sure,
could
most
stop
definitely.
that, uh, you know, I got him winning by knockout. So
By KO,
I got
really?
Caesar
Damn.
by KO, TKO. Who cares?
Nah, that's all good. We'll see what happens, man. This is honestly one of the best fights on the card, in my
It's gonna be
opinion.
entertaining. Fight of the night
Um,
potential.
Absolutely, I think so. I think so, honestly. This card's honestly pretty good. For an Apex card, granted, this is the main card. We'll get to the prelims in a
I like
second.
the next fight a lot.
hmm As we move on, yeah, this is a close one too, man. Wow, I forgot this was on this card. You can go first. I went first last time.
Yeah, this one's really good. We got Chris Curtis, teammate of former champion Sean Strickland, Extreme Couture's finest. Yeah, they all fight with a very similar style down there. I mean, they're very skilled. I think you have to give it to them where they deserve it. They are skilled and they're smart fighters. They go in
Yep.
with a game plan and they stick to what they're best at. Um, Chris Curtis has very good boxing skills. And he fights pretty smart early on. He gets frustrated. I feel like this isn't like a disrespect, Chris Curtis. You're watching this. I'm not trying to disrespect you when I say you're emotional, but I think there's emotion in it. Obviously, it's a fighting sport. You're supposed to be emotional in it. But yeah, I think it gets into his head or something. As the fight will go on, he'll get like a little angry or something. But he fights to make his opponents uncomfortable, Chris Curtis, and I think Sean's the same way. They like to make their opponents uncomfortable with those teeps, with their pace. It's like a very slow
So
pace. It's
no.
it's like you start the fight and you're like, oh, this is very slow. This is very technical. I remember with the Buckley fight, he was just in the center of the octagon, taking 2 steps forward at Buckley, and Buckley's running around. Just running around the whole octagon, in, out, ends up getting knocked out after that. So he makes his opponents very uncomfortable. Chris Curtis, um, great anti wrestling, and he hits hard. With Kopylov, I'm very high on Kopylov. He's very precise. His kicks are very good. Um, he sets up everything he does very like at an excellent level. I would like to say everything he sets up, it's perfect when you watch it. I think his style is going to be very hard for Chris Curtis to deal with. Um, I think there's like a skill level that Kopylov has that not a lot of fighters are like have. It's some fighters they have it, and I don't know even how to explain it. Some fighters just have it, and it's what Kopylov has. I'm not saying he's like the best fighter in the UFC or nothing.
Hmm.
It's just like if it's a chess match, right? And Chris Curtis is good at chess matches, but Kopylov is like very good at chess matches. I think his
Yes,
skill set
master.
like a right, like a grandmaster. And that's not me saying he's like a champion level right now. I just think he has the skill set to beat Chris Curtis in a chess match. So I'm gonna take Kopylov to win this one by decision.
Yeah, we were gonna agree on this one too. I was gonna go with the more technical striker. Same thing with the last fight. Really just gonna pick him to control the distance. I think he's a faster starter than Chris Curtis is as well. Really be able to line up the kicks from the legs, the legs, the head, the body. Really mix it up well. This is gonna play out on the feet. I'd be shocked if either fighter should take down. We know that Kopylov is Russian, so he does have that in his blood. If he does want to try to shoot for a takedown. I think he was even training with Khabib and all of that, even trying to get his wrestling better and stuff like that. So, um, we're gonna see what happens. I do think he can win this fight though, 100%. Same with Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis, he's gotten a little older the last couple of years. Obviously, that's what happens with time. But I think we're starting to see it in the cage too. And the UFC did him no favors with this matchup. He can win it if he applies a lot of pressure, lifts to the body. I think that's how he wins the fight is via the body shots. I just think it's gonna be hard to close the distance on this really world class striker like that. And we're gonna see how it goes. So he could get it done. He has a really good gym. Extreme Couture. Saying they made champions as we've seen. But we'll see how it goes. But I got copy lot via decision. Chris Curtis is really, really hard to finish. I don't see him getting knocked out or nothing like that. I just think it might be like a 29-28. It's a close fight. And I think Copy Lot can take it. But we'll see though.
All right, all right. Moving on. We're in the featherweight division.
Most definitely. This is probably like my most favorite fight on the whole card, honestly. I really love prospect versus prospect cards. I mean fights. Regardless, Christian Rodriguez coming off a loss, still a really good fighter, really good prospect. And the same goes for Austin Bashi, if not way more. This guy's super legit, really good wrestling, really good striking. He's super young. But we're gonna see how far he goes. On the regional scene, he was like a minus 600, 700 favorite like all the time. And even coming in here, he's a pretty decent favorite. So coming in his UFC debut, coming off Contender Series, he looked really good. I think Dana was talking about he wasn't going to sign him at first unless he got the finish and stuff. So I'm really happy he ended up pulling the trigger and adding Bastion to the roster. I think he'll be a great addition to the division. And I think it's going to be a pretty interesting fight to see it play out. But I mean, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I feel like everyone's picking the same guy. I got Austin Bashi, via decision. I think he'll be able to wrestle. Be good anywhere the fight goes, whether wrestling or striking. Super polished fighter. We've seen Christian Rodriguez get lucky in the past when he beat Isaac Dogarian. I thought he lost that fight. Um, got dominated the first two rounds, came back, won the third, and stole the fight. Well, I mean, like, it is what it is. You feel me? He's not a judge. He's just a fighter. And yeah, man, I was gonna go with Austin Bashi to win his first fight in the UFC and his cap off. The beginning of a really good year for him, hopefully. And God bless this dude. I hope he goes on to become a champion, most definitely. And we're gonna see how it goes. He's really, really young, so we're gonna all see his story play out over the next few years. Who knows though? We've seen undefeated dudes come in, get chewed up, and spit out, go 0-3, cut over just like that. So we'll see how it goes. Um, but shout out to this kid. I got Austin Bashi via decision.
All right, we got our first disagreement of the night. I'll be taking C-Rod to win this one by decision. Uh, I get
Yeah.
Bashi. He has a very good wrestling orientated style, and he has a great pace. But C-Rod has been fighting a lot of wrestlers, and I think he's understanding it more. Like they keep throwing these wrestling guys at him. They keep throwing, and he understands that he keeps finding all their paces. Like he could handle their paces. He has good cardio. Um, like I think after a while he's just gonna figure it out. They just keep throwing these wrestlers at him. He's young. He's smart. He's
He's
27
gonna
years old.
figure it
He's gonna
out.
figure it out. I'm gonna take C-Rod in this one.
He's gonna figure it
This is where the money's at tonight. Tonight, Saturday night.
Massive underdog. Are you gonna parlay him? Are you actually gonna bet money on him, or
No way.
you're not
I'm not putting no money on this card. I don't give a shit about any of these. For money
Nah, I
wise,
feel
hell
you.
no.
Nah,
Hell
you're
no.
good, bro.
Fight nights are the best times to bet, though. This is where you make the most money, honestly. Every time I make predictions, if I'm ever gonna go perfect on a night, it's on a fight night, and it's
I just
happened. I
wouldn't.
think I went perfect on like two fight nights that I didn't even watch. I just made predictions for.
Right. All right, then. Well, hey,
All
bro.
right, then, let's just keep
It,
going. Fuck it.
I mean, it's always good to save your money. It's always good to save your money. That's all I'm saying. Got another banger in this one. I was gonna give my pick off the top. Fuck. I was gonna go with Punahele Soriano. Um, I think he's a really good striker, man. I think he's really aggressive. Don't get me wrong. Udos Medic himself is also really good. We've seen him get KO'd, and we've seen Puna go through his adversity as well. Um, this gonna be a banger of a matchup. I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot of people are picking Udos Medic. I get it. He's a really high level striker. For sure, like really world class opponent for Puna. I just think Puna I don't know, man. I feel like he's really like he's got his weight cut under control. Not like he was missing weight and stuff like that. I just think like with this recent opponents, like he's looked better, And I think with his striking skills, with his power, with his pace, I think he'll be able to really close the distance and really try to land bombs on this dude. I already got a feeling you're picking Medics. Like I get it. This dude's a devastating striker too. I mean, I feel like it's an even fight, regardless what the betting odds say and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. Keep an eye on Twitter. I mean, we'll see how these look on the scale. I hope Puna doesn't kill himself or whatever. I'll be switching picks or nothing like that. But I've always liked Puna ever since he came inside the UFC. I just think he ran into some dudes that were really hard to finish. But I think he could get a finish on Medic. But we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a pretty crazy fight. I do think so. Um, but we'll see what happens though. Who you picking, man?
I'm taking Medic by knockout. I do understand though, like they both have their paths to victory. Like Soriano, he has a really good chin, but he relies on it too much. Like he knows he's not gonna
Hawaiian.
get knocked out, so he's like, oh, I could take a punch without blocking it. Like, and that's not the smartest way because any punch could put anyone out if it's landing in the right spot. And then you're going against someone like Medic who's accurate. He could put it right on the right here on you or right behind the ear, so he knows where to land his punches. He's very good at range, Medic. Um, It's just his cardio. He has very bad cardio. Later in the fight, if it goes to a third round and they're both a little tired, I think Soriano takes the edge there. Um, he has better wrestling probably than Medic. I do think they're even. I think the lines are. I wouldn't be mad if the line was closer personally. But I'll take Medic by knockout. I'm more comfortable there.
You're picking everybody to get knocked out, man.
Listen, it's
I
never
feel
smart to
you.
pick someone who blocks a punch with their chin. You know.
Like, nah, I get it for sure. Like, hey, like I said, both these guys have been. I can't remember the last time Puna's been finished.
My
It's been.
camera keeps going blurry.
Oh no, you're good. We're almost done anyway. But yeah, moving on though to the next one. It's a good card. This is like I said. You feel me? Got Jose Johnson on this one coming back, man. Trying to get a win. Got the 6 foot flyweight. Um, he's really good in my opinion. You feel me? But you can go ahead and give your pick on this one first. Go ahead.
I got Johnson winning this one by knockout. He has good striking and has his reach advantage. Um, but he's not the best against wrestlers. That's kind of where his weak spot is.
Yep.
Um, but I mean, even then, he is 6 foot. You kind of just gotta, these you kind of just gotta trust it, have faith in him. Like it might not be his style of a fight. Um, I know Bunes went against Joshua Van. That was very good for an experience fight, just because we see where Van is now.
Right.
Um, I think Johnson's gonna be able to knock him out though in this fight personally.
Knock him out. I think so. I mean, he went through like this. Like he's really just gotten wrestled throughout his UFC career. I think that's really the gift and the curse of being a 6 foot flyweight. That long body, good wrestlers can abuse that. But I got Jose as well by KO. I think they're really giving him this matchup to try to get him back in the winner's circle. They like the potential of a 6 foot flyweight. I really think they want to keep him around. Definitely have this freak of nature inside the division for sure. Um, and yeah, that was it for me. I think this fight's pretty cut and dry. This is any old prelim, really. And I think they're really trying to get Jose Johnson a win. Not like it's a showcase fight per se. I just think that he is going to get the victory. Um, and we'll see what happens. But anything can happen in a fight. At the end of the day, punches get thrown and dudes get knocked out. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Moving on.
Hey, yeah, yo, so Marco Tulio, like I was really high on this dude coming off the contender series. He landed a beautiful spinning back kick to the body that I'm pretty sure might have broken a rib on the dude that he fought. This is devastating. That like to really like the body was wide open and the heel landed flush to the rib cage. So like yes, like oh I know that dude could not sleep that night you know. And Eor Portidia, this guy is like he really hasn't looked the best as he came into the UFC. He beat Shogun, who shortly retired after that. He caught a lot of flack for dancing after beating Shogun. Just beating a legend like that. You feel me? But I mean, I'm not gonna spend too much on this fight. I do think this one's pretty cut and dry too. I think Portieri is not that good, man. We see anytime he's fought a dude that was high up like that, he got finished in dramatic fashion. So I was gonna go with Marco Tulio. I think they're giving him this fight coming off contender series to make him look good. They want to get a highlight reel finish, really announce himself to the UFC, and they want to see like they like fighting exciting fighters like him. So they want to see if he can produce another knockout of that nature. So I think he will, and I was gonna go with Tulio. How you feeling?
I'm also taking Tulio to win this one by knockout. He has super clean striking, just gets him his knockouts. But I don't think Potier is that bad as it seems. I think it's that he gets finished so much. I think like during the fight he's a good fighter until he's not, and it's hard because like he's like right there to being a good fighter in my opinion. It's
Right.
just something's missing in him, and I don't know what it is, but I don't think he's a bad fighter, honestly. I'd like to pick him in his fights to win. I feel like I've picked him in his last two and he lost, and that's why I feel this way. Um, but this one I'm
Yeah,
picking against him
fighter,
for
man.
sure. I think Tulio puts him out.
I mean, the UFC is brutal, man. It's a hard job, bro. Like these two, when he first came in, he was like 19-2. Like he had a crazy record. I'm going through all the dudes he's beaten. You can even go through yourself right quick. And yo, like even when he first came in, as we analyze Ihor Portilia's career, I mean, yeah, some of the dudes, like, I mean, like, he was like dudes that were like 0-0, had negative records and stuff like that. Like, look at all this green. You feel me? And as soon as he had the octagon cage, like, it was just like, man, bro, you knew like there was something off here. Then they gave him the Shogun fight. I think that might have been for Shogun to try to get a win. I mean, I get it. Like, I mean, who they gonna do favors for? The UFC Pride Legend or the newcomer? You feel me? Not to disrespect you or Portier, he's still a professional mixed martial artist in the UFC right now, and he could win this fight. I just think even the UFC weren't high on him like that to begin with, and like the evidence is there to show that. But either way, he's still a professional fighter. He has to feed his family. At the end of the day, God bless him. I wish him nothing but the best. He could win this fight and make me look extremely stupid. But I just think that Tulio's gonna win this fight with a devastating knockout, if I had to describe. And yeah, we're gonna see how it goes though for sure. Like that's the thing. We've seen upsets happen and stuff like that, and even then, that's one thing I forgot to say. On a 2 second side note, I want to give a shout out to Gabriela Fernandez. She knocked out, well, she clubbed and subbed Kong Tong or Kong Wang. How they pronounce it on the broadcast, stuff like that. Um, that was in the UFC Macau card when she was a massive underdog. And she won that fight. I'm only giving her a shout out mid breakdown because we forgot to do the upset of the year at the beginning of the
Mm.
video. So I want to give a shout out to Gabriela Fernandez for even winning that fight. She was a plus. I think she might have been the biggest underdog in UFC history outside of the Shana Dobson and Maria Akapova situation. So like that was crazy to see, especially how she finished her and made the crowd go completely silent. She made her move up to weight division. That's how crazy the fight was. I mean, like the result was. And we'll see how Gabriella does this year. But wanted to give a shout out to her. That was a crazy, crazy upset, and she deserved credit for that. But moving on to these last set of prelims, I was gonna go with Thiago Moises to beat Trey Ogden. I think Moises is the better fighter. I think he'll be better anywhere the fight goes, the striking or the jiu-jitsu. I think Ogden at 36 years old, he has some good wins. He beat Daniel Schauhuber, which is a great win on his resume, especially it's gonna hit totally different 5 years from now. But I think Thiago Moises wins that fight as well. And who are you picking?
I actually didn't pick yet on this fight. I know Moise is a very well-rounded fighter,
Into the
and
American Top Team.
his skill set's best on the ground. Pretty sure he was like one of two people at the time to take down Islam, him and Armin. Um, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if anyone else has taken Islam down. Did Volk get a takedown on Islam?
Nah.
Nah, it was. I think it was like a club, and he kind of fell down. But
He had him
yeah,
on his back. He didn't like
he had him on his
blast on
back.
him.
It might have been like a
Yeah,
transition or something. So I think Islam
yeah.
has only been taken down by Armin and Tiago. Ogden, he's like really good at finding submissions, and he hasn't been taken down. So it's kind of an interesting back and forth analysis for me. I think just Tiago has seen better competition at lightweight. He's seen some of the best during his time. Um, so I guess I could take Tiago to win this one by a decision. Not too confident in either. I think it's going to be a good fight though.
I agree. I think it's gonna be one of the more underrated fights on the card. I think it's gonna be pretty back and forth. I just think Moises is gonna be better anywhere the fight goes. But moving on though, of course, to the next one. You could go ahead and pick the first one. Who you got?
We got short notice. Jacoby Smith stepping in for Andreas Gustafsson, not related to the
The
former light heavyweight.
Alexander.
Unfortunately, not related because that would have been so awesome. But yeah, I think this is a more dangerous matchup for Preston Parsons personally. Jacoby Smith is at AKA American Kickboxing Academy. Um, very known for Khabib, Islam, DC, Rockhold. There's a lot of great fighters that came from AKA.
Exactly.
Preston Parsons is a wrestler and he hunts his takedowns in the fight. Jacoby Smith is, like I said, he trains at AKA. He has very good cardio. So I think his takedown defense will be there in the fight. I think he's going to make this fight hell for Preston Parsons personally. Um, I'm gonna take the short notice fighter in this one. You know, Dana White always says, "Be ready when we call you." They called him. Fight night, first card of the year. I think
Hmm.
this is his time. I'm not. I don't think Preston Parsons is that amazing, in my opinion. I think if anyone could step in on short notice and do it against someone, I'm gonna take Jacoby in this one.
Hmm.
He's a
Yeah,
finisher.
I hope we see Gustafson again soon. Like I thought he looked okay on
He didn't
Contender
look that
Series.
good to me in the film I've seen. I watched
Yeah,
some regional shit on him.
I was gonna say he looked okay on Contender Series. Not
I'm kind
like
of glad he's not on this card. I don't know. Maybe
I
it's
don't
just
think
the
he's a
last
fraud.
name and that he's from Sweden. They just want a Swedish fighter. They got Hamza. They need more Swedish people so they could go to Sweden.
Yeah, they would love that again to go back to like have a UFC Sweden, but I haven't done it forever. They don't have like a fighter. Maybe Josephine Knudsen could, rise up the ranks and like we'll see what happens. I wish Hamza was still Swedish nationality. He switched to the UAE. That's where he lives now. So bought a crib over there, Abu Dhabi. So, but yeah, moving on to the next one. Can you read me the names? I kind of can't
Yeah, you're
see from
good.
my
We got Ernesta Karakady and Noel
Oh,
Cagliari.
okay, okay,
I
okay,
actually
okay.
don't have anything. This is one of the fights I did skip on because
Oh
I
no,
was
you're
a little
good. I was gonna go with
frustrated
Ernesta.
trying to find videos on YouTube for some reason.
I was gonna go with Ernesta. I've just like a little bit more of what I've seen from her. The Lithuanian prospect, of course. I just thought she looked pretty good, man, for what I've seen inside the cage. She's young, like she's still pretty green in MMA herself. Both these girls are, so I like fighters like I like fights like this where we see both fighters really learn on the job and stuff like that. I like seeing like early fights in their careers. That's why if you guys watch any LFA cards, stuff like that, a lot of times you'll see these dudes making their professional debuts, so you can imagine how those dudes woke up that morning knowing that they like they had that night. You can either start out 0-1 or 1-0, and we'll see what happens. But I was gonna go with Ernesta though. I just like what I've seen from her more. But yeah, who you picking?
I don't know.
No, I mean,
I don't know. I couldn't find videos on YouTube, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll come back to it." I didn't.
no, you're good, man. My man don't like making no ignorant decisions. I feel you. Only educated picks only for y'all that
Type
watch the
shit.
channel. You feel me? At least you know your picks are quality assured. You feel me? Moving on to the next one. Only three more fights left on the evening. Want to thank y'all again for joining us. Thank y'all again for bearing with me on the phone too. My laptop was kind of bugging before we went live, so I had to put out the iPhone
It was
14.
completely the laptop because your phone is, knock on wood, been perfect the whole time. So it was the
Got you,
laptop for
got you.
sure. That's
Cool,
weird.
cool, cool, cool. For sure. It's worked in the past, so hopefully it works for 311. It will. But yeah, moving on though.
MG.
Last week,
MG is
last
the
week's fights.
name.
I'm not even gonna try to.
Yeah.
This dude was on Contender Series. He looked good when he was on there. Like really looked pretty well rounded. Striking and grappling. He has some wins by KO and some by decision. I don't think he has a submission win yet. MG he goes by as you can see for specific reasons. And yeah, like I think this dude's look good. You feel me? Could you remind me of his age, please? I think he's like
Yeah, I got you.
I think it's like 29, making his debut.
31. 31 and 31.
31. Okay, got you, got you. Want to give a shout out to Lane. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you. Always love seeing you in the chat. Most definitely. Um, appreciate you for joining us. Most definitely. I know we've got only a couple more fights left, but want to give a shout out to Lane in the chat. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you so much. Um, and yeah, so again, this fight's pretty interesting. Um, How are you feeling on this fight though? Like I went first the last time, so I'll go ahead and let you go first.
I think for light heavyweight, MG is actually like a really interesting fighter. Like there could really be some hype behind him. He's super quick, which you don't see at the heavier weights. Um, he has really good wrestling. He has a kickboxing style and fast kicks. Kind of almost like a Magomed Ankalaev, honestly. Funny that they kind of share the same first name, but yeah, super fast kicks. Um, he could finish once you're on the ground. I mean, he has all types of finish abilities. I think he's overall a really good fighter. Um, I'm taking MG to win this one by decision. Lopez is just a heavy hitter for me. I think it's just going to be like a kickboxing fight. And if the fight does go to the ground, MG controls it. So I take MG to win this one.
Hmm. Yeah, same here. Just gonna do more research on on this prospect in particular. I do want to find out more about him. Like I said, I saw him on Contender Series. He looked pretty good. He's 31, so he's coming into his prime inside the UFC. So it's always good to really try to align that age with the time you will make your entrance into the big league. So we'll see how far you can go. Of course, can't really say too much without seeing him really fight some major competition. So I think he'll win this one. Probably via decision. Really just do whatever it takes. Not play it safe per se, but I think he's just gonna look good. And just get the victory, honestly. And yeah, that's it for me. But moving on to the second to last fight of the night for us, anyway. In reality, it's the second fight of the night on Saturday night. But um, yeah, man, I could go ahead and give my pick for this one too. I was gonna go with Fatima Klein on this one. I think she's really, really good. Victoria Dudikova lost to Sam Hughes in her last fight. Nothing against Sam Hughes. I think Sam Hughes is most definitely, especially now, a UFC level fighter. For those that try to disrespect her, I think that she's just ruined some parlays. That's why some people continue to disrespect Sam Hughes, Sam Page, her nickname is. And she's a really good fighter, pretty well rounded, if I could say so myself. Um, and I think, going into this fight for Victoria, I think Fatima Klein is really, really good. She's really well rounded. She lost her debut, but she took it up a weight division. And yeah, the UFC gave her another chance, gave her a whole new contract, obviously. And I think with this fight, I think she'll look better anywhere the fight goes. Victoria's still pretty good herself. It's just she gassed out really bad against Sam Hughes and didn't look good when going through the adversity. So I was gonna go with Fatima Klein. I just trust her a little more. And I think she'll look better in the fight.
Word, word. All right. I have Klein in this one. I didn't put by a method. I think Dudikova is a really balanced fighter, but she just doesn't excel anywhere, in my opinion. I don't think she's able to trade on in the feet as much as Klein would, and I think Klein is a fighter who's really good at getting up close and personal. Um, she's gonna want to get the fight there, and she will be able to get the fight there. I don't think Dudikova has anything for her once that fight closes the distance.
Sure.
Um, Klein just has the wrestling advantage, and she's very skilled in the stand-up department. So I'm gonna take her to win this one. I'd say probably by decision.
Okay. Oh, okay. Bet Nikki picking that decision. All right then. Sure. Love to see it, most definitely. In the last slash first fight of the night. Want to thank y'all again for joining us on this one. We're definitely gonna be more consistent this year. We just got really busy the last portion of the year. We still didn't miss any pay-per-views or nothing of that nature. We never miss any pay-per-views, but it's a lot of MMA, so it's a lot to try to definitely keep the pace, especially when we got work and all that, y'all. We work like I work like 5 days a week and stuff. And when I get off, like I'll be so tired sometimes, and I got like my other job I gotta go to at night and stuff like that. And Nikki's training all the time, and he's
Type
also
shit.
busy.
Five
And
days
he's
a
also
week.
facts, most
I would show you
definitely.
guys the gi, but it's in the basement drying. But I got one stripe on the white belt. We coming for two, then three, then four, then five. Then we gonna go blue. Hopefully to compete this year in jiu-jitsu
Mhm.
tournaments. Work our way towards MMA. Don't know if I want to compete in Muay Thai because it's scary, but I definitely want to compete in MMA. By I'm just turned 23, so if I was to be realistic with myself, by 28 or 29, I would love to be competing in MMA. But I definitely want to get my feet wet in jiu-jitsu this year.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely take your time on it for sure, because your name is your name, you know. So like with your record, like once it's out there forever, you know. So you really want to make sure, like that's why like I respect those dudes, man. When they go to those training camps and now it's time to shine, like you're in the fight now, you know. Like you gotta, you know, you can't freeze up, you can't, especially when like a dude's like 2-2 and he's like, oh man, if I go 2-3, I'm about to retire. Like just you know stuff like that, or like if they went 2-3, they could have won the next 10 in a row, and like they never knew that, you know, and stuff like that. Like Jack Della Maddalena lost his first two fights. You know, he's in a fucking 18 fight win streak. You feel me? Little did he know what was about to happen after the first one. But yeah. Um, Again, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Going to the last fight of the night, I was gonna go with Narulo Aliyev. I think he's really high level. He kind of reminds me of Khabib. It's pretty funny. He
Yeah.
looks like him. He kind of looks like him when he has hair and stuff like, but it's grown out. He literally looks like a 23-year-old Khabib when Khabib is
And he's
first
the
debuted.
Tajik Eagle, which is pretty
Right.
cool.
And I think that was definitely a play on that. Obviously we know Khabib's influence across all of Europe, across all the mountains. So, I think that Norulo has a really bright future. I just think he's still really young. So he's gonna just, you know, just go slow, you know, slow roll his career. He's a massive star in Tajikistan. When he made his debut, it was crazy to see how many people really. It was like maybe like it was like 5,000 people in the venue watching him fight. It was an astronomical number like that. It was pretty insane. And like the whole country, he got like a hero's welcome off winning one fight. You know, so it's really cool to see him really get that kind of support. And I love all these different storylines in all these different countries. So many of the countries I did not know existed until I started watching UFC, like Azerbaijan, like Rafael Fiziev is from Azerbaijan, and like Bahrain and stuff like that. Like it's just stuff like MG from Bahrain. You know, there's stuff like that. There's so many places I never knew about, but these fighters have blessed me with that knowledge. You know, and yeah, man, I was gonna go with Norulo Aliyev. And who you picking in our last fight of the night?
I'm taking Ali. This is like what I've been most excited for. This is probably a first card of the first fight of the night, first fight of the year. This is probably what I'm most excited for. I really like Ali. I'm excited to see him. Um, Yeah, I mean he does fight a lot like Khabib. Like there's just so many similarities. The fact that it's just such sloppy striking, but he's so good at taking you down and getting to top control. And it's not like he's just a smother guy. I mean, he has great ground and pound. He's an interesting fighter, 24 years old, fresh 24 years old at lightweight division. By the time he's at his peak, Islam will be out of the lightweight division.
Gone.
So
Yep.
really interesting there. Um, yeah, Selecki, interesting. He has really good jujitsu. He has crafty submissions. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. Like, yeah, you could have good submissions, but good top. If you someone with good top control, it's just there's nothing for you. There is no submissions for you there. So yeah, he's going to have sharp takedown defense. So if you keep it on the feet, maybe for Joe Selecki.
Right.
But yeah, I'm taking Arula leaving this one. Super excited for him. I think he's going to be a really good fighter.
Me too. I think he has a big year this year. By the end of this year, he's definitely gonna be ranked like 12 or 11, something like that. I think he'll be really young. So they want to make him keep that. Oh, they're not gonna do nothing too drastic, and give him a crazy competition. But I do think he'll be built for it at the end of the day, and we're gonna see how it goes. I always get excited when I see these dudes fight at 155, knowing the fights they can have in the lightweight division and stuff like that.
Hmm Best division in
So
the UFC.
literally, it's like when Umar like first came on the scene. I already knew who he was, but like when I knew he was really, like when he was a bantamweight, really more so when he got to the top of the bantamweight division, knowing finally he's gonna fight Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley. Like I can't wait to see. Like I want Umar to really have those movies, man. It's like I always said, like it's really cool. It's gonna be like his cousin just at a smaller division. For those that did not get to see Khabib fight, they're gonna get to see his cousin. Of course, they're two totally different styles. From when they fight in the cage. But it's just gonna be cool to see. Like it brings Khabib back as well. He's gonna be in the corner. He's gonna be there every step of the way for his little cousin, 1,000%. And I'm just really excited to see that play out. And that's crazy for Khabib. Like when Khabib was 23, Umar, because Khabib's 36 now. Umar just turned 29, so he's 37 years older than him. So he's 17. His little cousin's 10. They're training, teaching him all this stuff. Like, little did he know the 200 shit like that's just like that's just crazy, man. And like they're really it's the bloodline. So I keep saying like Umar's gonna fulfill the prophecy, But that's till next week. We gotta wait for that. Thank y'all so much again for joining us. Want to appreciate y'all again for supporting through the hiatus. It was only 2 weeks. We just took a break with the rest of the UFC and stuff like that. But we're back this year and way better, most definitely. Keep a lookout for our live streams. Gonna start doing more late night live streams too. Even if one of us go live separately, that's definitely gonna start doing that just to chop it up with you guys. Definitely see how you guys are feeling about the current MMA landscape. We see a bunch of fights got announced, like the UFC Seattle stuff, like Dominic Cruz coming back, Henry Cejudo. Me and Nikki were DMing about that. Like it breaks my heart, man. That like Henry still has to fight, man. Like honestly, it hurts, bro. But like, cause he's gonna fight dudes that wouldn't have held a candle to this man 5 years ago, bro. And it sucks, man. Like, but we'll see how it goes. He can win the fight. He might get he can get paid and stuff. So he's doing the pound for pound podcast, and but he still wants to be in the cage and stuff like that. So, but again, that's it for me. Unless you got some more stuff, Nikki.
That's it for
That's it.
me, yo. We get to this week. We got probably what's going to be one of the best cards of the year next
Of
week.
all time,
I'm gonna.
literally.
It's gonna be hard. We said it last year, but like when 297, when 299 and 300, they're setting themselves up for a hard year. they they got a lot of
Mhm.
work to do this year. Then
They
you
gotta
know.
top it, and like that's what's gonna happen in the 300s. Look at the poster for UFC 311. It literally looks like a movie poster. And you can see the aesthetic with the red and the blue, what they're trying to really set. It's cool. That's what it needs to be like from here on out. It's just gonna be super futuristic. I'm thinking about my kids. They're gonna. I have no children, y'all. But I'm thinking about like in the future, man. Like, because UFC 400 is slated to happen in 2031 based on the clock and stuff. I saw a graph that had all the dates and stuff. So I'll be 32 years old when UFC 400 happens. I will most definitely be going to that. You bet your ass. I'm gonna be a grown ass man though. I'm a grown man now, but it's like, damn, man. Like the fact that like we're gonna go that far, bro, and like some of these fighters might not be here anymore. Some of them are, some of them aren't, and we're just gonna see how it goes, man. It's an exciting year, most definitely. We already have the first two pay-per-views set in stone. The first four championships of the year. Um, Tatiana Suarez is finally fighting for the belt. You feel me? I look forward to that a lot. Hopefully she can just stay healthy and finally get in the cage and really finally like fulfill the prophecy, her destiny of fighting for the belt. Finally, like she's around gold. Gold as in like the pay per view presentation and stuff. Because she hadn't fought on one before, like she hadn't fought in a title fight. Now she's finally here. She was ranked number 3 at the time. They stripped her ranking after 2 years of inactivity because of an injury. Um, so we're gonna see what happens. We got a lot to look forward to. But yeah, I've talked enough. I want to appreciate y'all again. You got anything else, Nikki? Or are you good, brother?
That's it for me, yo. Appreciate everyone coming through, supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Please, we're trying to grow this year. And yeah, that's it for me, yo. Back to it. We're
Uh,
gonna have a long week again. Back working
Seriously,
and grinding. Let's do it.
for real. I gotta wake up at fucking 7 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Ass
But
crack of dawn. Let's get it.
seriously, yeah. Appreciate y'all again. It's always easier to grind through the weeks when we know we got the pay-per-views on Saturday nights. Thank y'all again. God bless y'all. Enjoy the fights on Saturday. And catch us next week for our breakdown. If the card is crazy, one of us might go live Saturday night on like a little post-fight, post-card reaction. If we have a bunch of crazy results, stuff like that. But y'all have a nice night. God bless you. Happy holidays to you. We're glad y'all had a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And yeah, we're gonna do big things this year. We're gonna be way more consistent how we were, like in the beginning of last year. And thank y'all again, and y'all have a great night, and God bless y'all.
Peace.